You know, I had a guy tell me early on in my career, you're going to spend the rest of your life working your idea or working somebody else's. You got to decide what you want to do. All of us work for mining companies all of our lives. Now we're working our idea.
In Bear Gulch, Montana, on the 9,000-foot-high slopes of the Tobacco Root Mountains, there's a network of long abandoned mines where no one's found gold in decades. But veteran miners, the Dale brothers, just bought them all.
We walked over all these claims since we were little kids, but we didn't own them. And now we own them.
They grew up here, and they're convinced that the old-timers who gave up on these mines missed one of the largest untapped gold structures in the lower 48.
The past generation left a lot of gold in these mountains.
Tens of millions of dollars, even after all the investment.
Reaching the deep ore will cost a fortune, but the Dales have an ace in the hole. They've guarded a family legend for 3 generations of a rich gold vein hidden near the surface of the mountain. And only they know where to find it.
If we could get to that, life-changing.
Now, to launch a family empire.
Radio call. You copy? We're heading in.
They're betting everything.
Good luck.
That the legend they've believed all their lives.
Now, I'll bet you. That's the hard stuff.
Look at that. This could be it.
Is true.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Fire in the hole. Holy.
Hi-ho, nobody home, yet I will be married. I will be nobody home. Hi-ho.
Yeah, but it's not 100 feet, it's not 60 feet, unless going down.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, how'd the old gal run?
Came right up the hill,
All right,
like she always does,
except when it doesn't.
except when it doesn't.
We were just talking about what we want to do as a group of brothers. We got these mining properties that we acquired. Let's talk about what we can do with our limited budget.
Well, the biggest deal would be to open up the mountain.
Rick, John, Tad, Paul, and Kit Dale have a lot on their table. After 40 years working for mining companies around the world, they've come home to Bear Gulch, Montana, and pooled their life savings to purchase over 60 abandoned mine claims here. The Bear Gulch mines are over a century old. Born of a gold boom that brought thousands to Montana in search of fortune. The old-timers pulled millions out of this mountain. But in World War II, the Strategic Minerals Act sent the price of gold spiraling, and the mines have been shut down since.
We researched all the historical information, built models, and identified what we believe is another ore body that was never developed.
There were early mines all over the mountain that had very rich veins of gold. Small, but extremely high grade. And like fingers on a hand, those come back to a feeder system. The deep ore, the feeder system, it's worth tens of millions of dollars. But it takes a lot of money to get that out.
The Dales estimate it will cost $500,000 to reach the deep ore. money they don't have.
We all know that mining is capital intensive, and we have the resource, we have the property. What we don't have is a big pocketbook of money. We combined our assets and actually had to mortgage some of our properties and homes. So we have a finite budget that we're working off of.
If we could get a showing and get a little money in the kitty, you know, then we could start looking at bigger things.
So the best story, as we all know, is Ole's gold.
Well, now that the family has acquired these patented mining claims, we have a long-range plan. The first part of that is to look for Ole's gold.
Over 100 years ago, a Norwegian miner happened upon a rich gold vein in these mountains.
He was grub staked by a local mercantile. He was getting part of the profits, but not what he considered to be the fair share.
So he decided to conceal it and return later in life to pursue it for himself. Ole died before he had an opportunity to go back on his own and get that. Ole was a friend of the family. Before he died, he passed along the location of this gold deposit to our grandfather and to our father, who knew these mines well, and they in turn passed it along to us.
We're trying to prove out one of these family stories. Is it true?
Their father, Dick Dale, was obsessed with the idea of Ole's gold, but was cheated out of his chance to buy the claims when they were last up for auction 70 years ago.
It was in number 5, as far as we understand, right at the turn. And that's how Dad passed it on to us, you know, half a set to the right of number 5.
So I've got the inset from that map here, Rick, and look, Mom wrote that. Dick's Dream, which has to be Ole's parallel lead.
Mom certainly believed it.
So from what we always heard, that Ole's discovery was, I don't know, 60 feet in? Or...
That in far.
That's a good target. That's a great target.
I think that's the best prospect.
Well, I haven't been on that place for a long time.
Yeah.
I think I need to have a look.
Let's all go take a look and we'll regroup and put a plan together.
So now we're the gold barons, so let's get some gold.
Their target is in a cluster of 7 mines in the steep upper slopes of the Gulch, collectively referred to as the Pete and Joe claim. According to legend, Ole's gold vein is hidden somewhere in the Pete and Joe number 5 at an elevation of 9,000 feet.
Wow.
Quite a view.
This is a nice trail.
Yeah, a little game trail right here.
Trying to think, the last time I was up here was probably hunting grouse.
Long time ago.
Well, here's number 5, I guess, somewhere.
I thought it was going to be more clear-cut than this, but it's so jumbled here.
This almost looked like it was just squashed down.
A century ago, there was a full-scale mining facility here, built around an 8-foot wide tunnel in the mountain. But a landslide has demolished the facility and hidden the tunnel's entrance somewhere under a 200-foot span of rubble.
Mother Nature and gravity have done an amazing recovery job at this point on all of the mining activity that's been going on up here. We've got our work cut out for us.
We don't know where the old portal was, so we're going to have to do the best job we can of using the clues that are on the ground to see if we can find evidence of an old opening. So this was the portal shack.
This looks like a corner of a building.
I'm guessing this was the shop because it looks almost like a workbench.
Kip, look at this.
Oh! Hey, look at this. Sack, north sack.
Hey, that's where they bagged up their samples for shipment. Wow.
There's the last guy that sacked north. That's her hand in it. Didn't have any fingers left.
Good find there.
The brothers identify the number 5's workshop and the portal shack where Ole and his partners slept when they worked the mine. The portal's entrance is likely somewhere between the two.
We've zeroed in on probably a 75-foot wide area, and we know the elevation because we have the elevation of the dump.
Okay, there's a couple targets. Somewhere on this number 5 dump is Ole's gold, either there, or there.